Friday morning, Sonor family. It is Jules, and got a few things to talk about today. And if I seem kind of scattered, I'm going to try to pull some things up on my screen while I'm talking. So I'm going to apologize in advance for any interruption to flow that might cause this morning. But I think we've got some good stuff to talk about. Tomorrow, I've got the Lamar Carter interview coming out. He still hasn't approved it, but I've gotten no response for several months. And I initially wanted to release this back in July. So this has been sitting on the back burner that long. But it's going to be a good interview. And even if you're not very familiar with Lamar, or if he's just not somebody you pay a lot of attention to, it's going to be a good conversation. Some unfortunate stuff in the conversation as well. He had a theft, and he's still looking for some pieces to replace some stuff, as far as I know. I'm not going to get bogged down in the details on that. Watch that interview. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, too. That really helps me out here. The more subscribers I have, the easier it is to talk people into doing things, and that's the aim here, is to get other people involved, so you're not having to listen to just me chatter all the time. But for those of you who do watch the Coffee with Jules and all that, I appreciate you hanging in there with me. All right, so moving this thing along. You know, it's been ongoing for quite a while about the Chinese sonar stuff and all that, and people, when the AQ2 150th anniversary shell set got released, people were fussing about the price, and I'm not going to dig back into that here, but something I do want to point out: the Chinese Yamaha recording customs. A lot of people have stated, in fact, I don't think I've heard anything to the contrary, but they've worked out some bugs that the made in Germany models used to have, and that was something that was mentioned when Rick Beato went to Drum Center of Portsmouth, and Shane was talking about the recording custom series. But something I think people are going to find of interest. I had a poll, and I put four different price points on the poll for the SQ2s if you spec'd it out as similarly as possible to the Yamaha recording custom. So we're looking at the same sizes, birch shells, black, gloss black finish. The Yamaha recording custom has a map price of 55.59. Interestingly, a custom ordered SQ2 with as close to the same specs as possible is 67.19.38. So for the difference of $1,160.38, less than a $1,200 difference, you can order a flagship Sonor SQ2 built in Germany. And I hope that opens up some discussion. I've got a post on the forum. If you're not on the forum yet, you're going to want to be. So I'm going to post some links in the description. I'm going to post a link specifically to this particular conversation about the Yamaha recording customs. And I'm also going to post a couple of other links, one just being straight to the forum itself. So if you want to go sign up, do that. If you're already a member of the forum and you're not posting much, go in there and take a look around. Uh, Me and a couple of other guys are doing a pretty good job, I feel like, of coming up with new topics, keeping it interesting. We're not wearing old conversations out, too much. I mean, some of them are still worth the conversation, I think. So we do have some things that are kind of not, I wouldn't call them dead horses. Like the slotted rod thing. I had a post on there, or started a topic on there a while back about Sonor's possible need to actually draw in new people that were being repelled by the fact that they would have to have another drum key, or just didn't like the concept of a slotted rod when everybody else on the planet was using the square rods. Whether you agree or disagree, sign up, log in, whatever, voice your opinion. This isn't something that everybody has to agree with me. and I'm not going to fight to the death for everything Sonor does or has done. You know, I don't, I have my own opinions about things too. So, a differing opinion is certainly welcome. So sign in and let us know what you think. Also, going back to the Chinese thing, we take a look in one post or one topic about the transition of the Force 3000, or not the Force, but the 3000 series hardware in the late 90s or maybe 2000 from Germany to China, and how there really was no difference in the quality. And that's coming not from just me, but that's coming from a history of a lot of people that own both. And the only two things I can think of is one, that the footboards changed on the hi-hat and the bass drum pedals, but they also changed on the 5000 series. It was an upgrade. It wasn't a dilution of what they were doing, if dilution is a word. But the other thing too is initially, and I think this changed during production, but initially the Chinese built snare drum stands did not have the rivet to hold the basket top on. They were press fitted and could pop off, and did. But I think that was corrected, you know, in the production process. Other than that, there's absolutely no difference. The item numbers didn't change or anything. But if you want to take a look at the pricing differences on that, let me find that real quick. But it was substantial, and of course we know too that eventually the the 600 series replaced the 5000 series and showed a substantial price drop. Now, I'll just give you a couple here off the top. The hi-hat stands are an example. In 1997, the 5000 series hi-hat stand was $425, and the 3000 series was $360. Now, at the time, the 3000 series had a regular and a swivel footboard. This would be the swivel footboard. The 5000 swiveled anyway. So I compared apples to apples the best I could on that. So 425 for the 5000, 360 for the 3000. That's the German made. When the production had shifted to China, that 360 dropped all the way to 175, and yet you got the same quality. There were no shortcuts. You know, everything was up to par with the prior production. So, if you want to take a look at that forum or that topic, I'm going to put a link specifically to that topic in the forum as well. The way I've got things set right now, people that are not members can go in there and take a look around. You can see everything. There's no limit on what you're able to see as a non-member. But I highly recommend you sign up, because sooner or later we're gonna, if not already, we're gonna have something on there you're gonna want to talk about and be a part of. What else we got for today? All right, I've also got a poll on there. And again, there's going to be a link to that in the description, but it's about choosing a dealer. And I had 10 reasons on there. And one that I had forgotten that for me was really important was finance options. So are you dedicated to a dealer you've been dealing with long term? Are you a price shopper? Are you going to go with the cheapest guy regardless of their history or their reputation or their location or whatever? Are you going to deal with your local guy regardless of price? And for me, and this is the one of all the ones for me to forget, this is the one I didn't put on there. But for me, the financing was a huge option. I used to deal with a certain big company that had 48-month financing. It still does several times a year on a lot of the gear. And not only did that draw me to do a lot of business with them, but the 48-month financing opened up the opportunity for me to buy a lot of high-end gear I would have never bought without the financing. So it wasn't just a matter of I went to them because they had better options, but I bought a lot of things that way that I would have never bought from anybody simply because a $4,500 purchase, you're looking at roughly $100 a month over the 48-month period, once you consider tax. So anyway, if you're interested in getting in on that poll yourself, or if you just want to kind of go look and see what other people are thinking, or whatever, I've got a link in there for that. I hope everybody's going to have a good weekend. So far, it looks like it's going to be a nice weekend here. I'm enjoying the slightly cooler weather. Yesterday seemed pretty hot again. I haven't even looked at what's going on for the weekend yet. But anyway, I'm going to keep trying to make these things interesting and come up with new stuff to talk about instead of rambling like I'm prone to do. And I hope you feel like I've kept this on track today. And if I don't have anything uh, come out over the weekend other than the Carter interview, I will see you Monday morning. Be safe out there. Talk soon.